Welcome to my class. I'm Andy Kim of SKKU. And last week I sent you my class survey, and then 35 of you diligently answered my questions. And I spread out this survey to better understand our student body, especially exchange students. Basically, I had no information about which country you are from, so I wanted to know more about you guys, and then I could maybe somewhat tailor make some of these my classwork. So that's why. And some of you shared your concern about my family issues, emergency. Thank you for your concern. Things are getting better. So I just squeezed out a little bit of time right now, and I'm preparing this video to share on the YouTube. Let's hope for the best and then cross my finger. I mean, it's yeah. So next week next class I'm going to talk to you more in detail about what happened. But anyway, let's go through this class survey. Yeah, you guys are from 22 different countries, right? 35 respondents said it. Okay. I was anticipating about 90. Okay, we have 90 students, non-overlapping wise, I think, right? But 35 responded. Thank you. And what country are you guys from? Yes, Austria, Canada, China, Finland, France, Germany, Israel, Italy, Japan, Korea, Kosovo, Morocco, Russian Federation, Singapore, Spain and France, Sweden, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Turkey, UK, USA, and Vietnam. Okay, some of you did not respond yet. I just stuck in if I remembered your nationalities here. So welcome everyone. Because I'm teaching international finance, I just wondered, the currency units of your countries, right? Like this. And then if we think about, unique currencies being traded in the world, you guys represent about 15 different national currencies, and then the symbols look like this. Okay, so it gives me an interesting idea about, oh, okay, some of my questions I could focus on certain countries, and then let's delve into it and that kind of things, right? Anyway, I just wanted to see your long-term career goals and short-term career goals, and here is your answer: long-term career goals. So if I wait a minute, yes, yeah, then it looks like this. So I split into exchange students and non-exchange students, and if we look at your most popular answer to my questions of long-term career goals, Korean students said 25% of you guys said I have no idea. Okay, and then 16.7% of you, or two of you guys said entrepreneurship. One of you said startup in Silicon Valley. Adding together, it will be like 24%, I say. And then working abroad, and then CFO and civil service and managerial multinational corporate managers and real estate developers, various career aspiration, I could see it. And then exchange students, almost 10 of you, okay, out of 23 said either entrepreneurship or founding a startup, either in ICT or any other industries, right? So we could see clearly distinction between the Korean students and non-Korean students, or exchange students versus non-exchange students. Here in Korea, not many people aspire to become entrepreneur, whereas the international students, their aspiration is more into entrepreneurship, doing on my own business. Why is that the case? We're going to cover that issue later on. And then don't know. Also, substantial number of you guys said that you don't know. But if you look at the percentage, right, it's different. And then multinational corporation managers, yes, you guys also have that answers. Airplane pilots and analysts in fintech, and buy-side fund managers working in commerce, and finance lawyers, and head of assembly and private equity and software company managers, and so various career aspiration you got. So I like that. That's great. Yeah, why not entrepreneurship? Okay, quick answer. Korea, the environment has been much more focused on government-driven economic development. So chaebols, right, or the existing big corporations, they take a significant part, like the you know lion's share, about 60% of the GDP or 70%. So the government has been, disproportionately, helping those small number of chaebols, right? Samsung and then Hyundai and things like that. So that's the consequence. Whereas other countries and European countries or American continent, it was more liberal, grown up development, right? Market based development. So entrepreneurship, maybe founding a business, maybe it's much more friendly for smaller companies and outside. Whereas over here, we don't have a friendly environment for smaller companies. And if we go to the behavioral finance later on, we will see size effect. Small companies dominating big companies in your expected return. That outperformance of the smaller companies, that happens in the United States, but not in the Korea. Okay, here big corporations dominate in stock market as well in terms of their returns. So that's a difference. Is there going to be any change? We hope. Maybe we are aiming at it, but it takes time. Okay, it's not something that's going to happen right away, but over time there could be some changes. Okay. Most admired business people. 2/3 of you said did not mention any business people. 1/3 of you said about why they like finance instead of mentioning a person. So there may have been some miscommunication issue, either on my side or on your side. It's okay, fine. Only 14 students mentioned somebody, a business celebrity. Okay. Well, the most admired or most popular business celebrity turns out to be Warren Buffett. And then 3 of you said him, Oprah Winfrey and Ng Fang of Singapore, Park Jae-yeon of Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Iwan Shuaniad, founder of Patagonia, and then Benjamin Graham, Robert Kiyosaki, and Sebastian Siemiatkowski, founder of Klarna, a fintech company, and then Bernard Tapie, a French celebrity, how do you say, politician as well as a business person, as far as I understand. Peter Lynch of Fidelity Magellan Fund, who retired, and Ray Dalio, and then Graham Stephen of YouTube influencer. So many new names I also learned about them thanks to your response. That naming, okay, makes our class richer, I think, right? Benjamin Graham is a teacher of Warren Buffett, Oprah Winfrey, and then Ng Fang, Far East Corporation, not the corporation, organization of Singapore, and then Sebastian, right? And then Bernard Tapie, French guy. Very famous guys are shown up here, and influencers and all creative business people. Some of you said Neil Ferguson, finance historian. That's also great. Anyway, why did I ask this question? Because finance, if you have some human face on what you learn, it'll be a lot better for many of you, instead of just learning about the numbers and calculating the correct answer and then delivering the numbers in a dry fashion. Yeah, a part of finance is that, but another part is about who are your admired people, and then you want to aspire to become like him or her. Okay, so that in 30 years down the road, okay, I hope many of you become one of the biggest guys like this, right? So if you have those aspirations, father figure kind of, who is that celebrity? You wanna, follow their footsteps, right? Have that in your mind, please. Best place visited in Korea so far, you guys said Jeju Island and karaoke place, the next one. Myeongdong and then Bukhansan, Hongdae. Nobody said Itaewon, by the way. Where would you like to visit? The most popular place, said Busan you want to visit, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Thailand, Tokyo, Vietnam, and Sokcho, Saraksan, somewhere inside Korea. Nobody for Namhae, German village, Chungmo. Okay, I was wondering. Nobody said it. But where is German village in Korea? Or Chungmo nearby, or Namhae Island. Okay, Namhae Island. So this is the one. This is the southern end of Korean Peninsula. You may find it interesting. Okay, you may, because it is related to historical meaning about Korea's economic development. Where is it located? That beautiful and peaceful sea. Okay, here is Seoul. There is Busan. You want to visit Busan? So popular. So maybe you want to visit there, and then on the way back, or when you go there, you can also stop over here. Okay, this is Namhae Island. Why is it famous or meaningful? Okay, not that famous, but why do I say meaningful? Because it has a lot to do with the economic development of South Korea. And then 1970s and the late 60s, I think, right? Korea was trying to develop with the dictatorship, under the dictatorship of Mr. Park Chung-hee, right? He was more like Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. Okay, instead of being greedy for his own welfare, his own utility, he wanted to develop this country in much more dedicated fashion, just like Lee Kuan Yew did to Singapore. So what did he do? He wanted to, build a highway between Seoul and Busan, the second largest city, so that the frequent transportation will reduce the cost down in producing, goods and services and manufacturing businesses. So to build up that highway, he needed, or the country needed a lot of money, of course. Where can they ask for money? Who will invest it? Well, you may think, the United States will, spend some money for Korea. That was the era, right? It's Lyndon Johnson era or something. But the policy of United States was really reluctant to talk to any dictatorship countries. Okay, because their propaganda, purpose was more to support the democratic development, right? Whereas Park Chung-hee was not really truly 100% democratic, rather is authoritarian, I told you before. So they were kind of reluctant to talk to this government over here. So these guys had to, find an alternative source of financing. So where did they look for? They asked Germany, because at that time, West Germany was in need of labor supply. Okay, they had huge coal mines, right? Ruhr and Saar, Essen, Bochum, Dortmund, all these places, right? So they have huge coal mines, but not many labor forces to work there because it's dangerous and dirty. Whereas the people got richer, and then they, as they get rich, they want to go to less dangerous places to work. So they were in a short supply of labor, and also their supply of labor was running short in what was that, the nurses, right? In medical industry, nurses. So they needed nurses and the coal miners. And then South Korea, we said we could provide these labor forces. And then we recruited thousands of people to work in Germany. At that time, coincidentally, because it was in the early stage of economic development, the younger guys, like in your generation, okay, college graduates, they were jobless. Too much unemployment rate, so high. So how can the government take care of that unemployment at the same time? They could, get some help from the German and Germany. So one of the best solutions for them was to recruit these young people, male and female, and then thousands of them we send them to West Germany, and then they worked there, and then they sent that was one of the important ways to earn foreign currencies and then send it back to home, right? And with that, the German government was influenced a lot, looking at the strong work ethic of these Korean workers, and then so they started to trust, oh, Korean workers are working hard, very diligently. With this evidence, we are going to invest more in your countries, and then things started to develop very positively after that, so that South Korea was able to develop this, construct the highways, the country's first highways, in 1970 or something. So that's how it happened. And then thinking about those workers and nurses worked in Germany. Some of them stayed there, but many of them wanted to come back. And then once they came back, some of them returned to their own hometown, but many of them wanted to stay close to each other in a new area. And then the government allocated gave them this island, Namhae Island, at the end of southern peninsula over here, so that they could get together and then celebrate the culture they learned in West Germany. And they created a town like this, and there's a museum about what they did in West Germany. So I hope you can travel there and then learn about South Korea a lot more. And then right beside there's an island area called Yeosu. Remember Mr. Seong-yeol, okay, of New York Life? He said he's from Yeosu area. That's this place. So it's like a 2 hours drive from Namhae to Yeosu, and there you will be able to see nearby a petrochemical industry complex, right? Yeocheon 석유화학단지, like petrochemical, huge plants, okay? About refineries and then oil industries, factories, and there you will be able to see eyewitness what this huge chemical industry is like, and then what we mean by value stock. I always say value stocks as opposed to growth stocks. Value stocks is more characterized by their assets in place, huge assets sitting in their balance sheet and their factories and things like that. You will see the factories over there very much. So if you travel to Busan and there and Yeosu and then come back, maybe somewhere here you will see Boseong tea area, and it's going to be a very meaningful trip, I guess. Anyway, so that's that. Right, I asked you where would you like to visit in the future, if you have a chance, especially related to finance related places. Many of you said Money Museum, Bank of Korea, and then Seoul Finance Center, Yeouido Financial District, Stock Exchange, maybe Gangnam Finance Center or Samsung headquarters in Gangnam somewhere. Yeah, okay. Maybe not in this year or semester, but I'll keep this in mind so that next semester or next year I will try to develop some kind of site visiting plan, okay, for my students during the semester. Anyway, not this semester, I guess. And one interesting thing, it was like nobody was asking for Myeongdong loan shark area, 이렇게 사채골목. It's like this is where loan sharks lend money to either individuals or corporations. Scary place, maybe. I've never been there, but financial district. It used to be one of the big financial districts, right? Not anymore, but. So that's that. Any suggestions for the class? Some of you said after some pitches, their idea answers in class. I also want to hear your comments on them. It would help us figure out if the ideas are valid or not. Okay. I'll try. But there's courtesy concern, okay, from my side as well. I cannot say just, you're wrong. It would be too much humiliating to the students who try to say something. So usually, and then this is what my MBA professors were doing too. Instead of saying you are wrong, they say, is there any idea, any other ideas, other opinions, right? Any different thoughts, any different ideas, okay? That means it's more likely to negative, almost always negative. Sometimes I could say like, okay, it's in the middle, okay, but it's usually means not striking it, okay. Anyway, other suggestions. No suggestions. I can't come up with one. Your classes are great, but if I was a teacher, I would shot student who didn't listen with a Nerf. Okay, Nerf gun. Okay, thank you. I would love if we had a list of terms used in fintech that only people who work on it for years now. Some terms that are not easy to find as an amateur. Okay, I'll think about those, right? Remember, my class is, even though it is fintech and behavioral finance, it's more focused on behavioral finance. Fintech, yeah, we'll try it, but not as much. So I have to lower down your expectation, but I'll try. Maybe some Kahoot team quizzes or some role plays in finance context. Maybe I'll try it. International finance class seems much more content heavy. Whenever we learn a new topic or start covering new information in class, it would be nice to understand why we are learning what and learning that, or which part of the syllabus we are tracking. Okay, I will keep that in mind and then try to improve. Okay, thank you. Also, participation, is it correctly spelled? Participation, I'm sorry. Frequency of top 10 in my behavioral finance class, because I've been collecting and then giving you the piece of papers each time, or post-its and gums. OM, Emil Arthur, great. And then Dressler, Julian Luis, and then the next, and then Ritz, Kanel, Zoe, right? Kim Dong-hyun, good job. Zoe, good job. And then Lumina, Alexandru, Stefan, great job. Kim Hyun-soo and Chaudhary, rock team, right? And then Davis, Karian, Gertruda, and then Mates, Emily, Sophie, and then Yusunmin, right? Congratulations so far. So far so good. And then in international finance class, Strasbourg, Chuirin, and Kotova, Veronica, and Kanele, Zoe, all of you guys doing great. And then Mehdi, Zahid, and Chang Seung-won, rock team, and then Venus, Elias, and then Yekaterina, and Pambuki Umai, and Serop. All of you guys are doing great. Keep on, right? Keep on. And I will, and almost like a third of you in each class, like 25 of you guys did not speak up so far, okay? So I will try to give you more opportunities for who did not speak up yet. I will pick, the ones, yes, and then call your, cold call you, okay? So that you will have a chance to talk. But before I reach you, make sure you raise your hand and say something, okay? So make it your habit, okay? Good. So I hope you liked it. Oh, and then the next is about the homework 2, open homework 2 of international finance class, right? There's an open answer questions, and then there's I gave you a question about what is the currency in the data guide that is the least correlated or the most negatively correlated against Korean wons, right? Now, I assume by now you know how to calculate the foreign exchange rate, okay, the price of each currency in terms of US dollar, okay, and then I assume that you know how to calculate the daily returns over the period from April 2nd of 2020 up until yesterday, or most recent dates, okay. You may wonder why I chose this specific period, 2020 April 2nd. Well, if you remember, 2020 March 23rd or something was the trough of the stock market, global stock market, because of the pandemic, okay? Right after that, the central banks of developed countries announced huge plans of rescue plans, okay, of quantitative easing, and then yield curve control and things like that. Afterwards, the stock market bounced back, but people commonly find out in research in finance, people find out that seems like right after that, these characters of these data, okay, or it seems like it feels like we are living in a new regime, a totally different regime. There was a shift of regime after that announcement, okay? So many finance researchers find out the data character is very different before versus after this COVID-19. So this I'm trying to focus on after COVID-19 period, okay? So during this new regime, which currency is least correlated with or negatively correlated with Korean won. For that purpose, you need to compute the correlation matrix based on the return of the FX rate, okay, day by day over this period. So what I throw out over here is the daily return of each currency's price in terms of US dollars, right? Korean won, Japanese yen, Great British pound, and Canadian dollars. Of course, you have like 21 more of them, okay? But based on this, what do? Well, just I'll give you as an example, okay? Establishing a correlation matrix. How do we do that? Well, I would do this. Selecting these, I will use data, okay? Data tab, and then there you need to have a data analysis choice over here in this menu, and then you will have to choose correlation analysis in the second choice over here and click confirm. I'm assuming that you are able to read Koreans. I'm just kidding. You must be following the places and points and the buttons in this screen, okay, even if it is in English or whatever language that you are using, okay, and then click confirm, and then it asks you where is those cells that you are interested in. You want to designate, choose the cells like this, scrolling down, and then shift and click the E865, okay, and then click it, and then it says the direction of the data. It should be column wise, right? Column wise, column B is one variable, column C is another variable, column D and column E respectively, they mean different variables, right? Different currencies. So column based data, and then the first row in my data is name of the data set, name of the column, okay? So I check it, and then the resulting correlation table I want this computer to spit out in new worksheet. So click it, and then it spits out like this: Korean won, and then its correlation with Japanese yen, British pound, Canadian dollars, like this. Now, well, I just make it my habit for the sake of readability, okay? 4 digits below decimal point, okay? 4 digits or 3 digits below decimal point. Otherwise, it's going to strain your eyes. So make it your habit too, like this. Now, once you have it, okay, what can I do? It's conditional format of this, okay? in the home tab, I would click it like this. Conditional format of each cells. I want to throw in my colors like this. So maybe like this, maybe like that. It's up to you, but I will go like this. So it's gonna develop some kind of a heat map, okay? Depending on the magnitude of the correlation, either negative or positive. Remember, regardless of the sign of the coefficient, correlation coefficient, the color will be the more thicker if the absolute value is big, and then lighter if the absolute value is small. So be careful, but this is one way of having fun with the data like this. Okay, so based on this, you can do your homework in your own ways, developing a correlation table and find out among between Korean from the Korean one's perspective, which currency is least correlated among these, or 20 or more to go. Okay, you will be able to find which one is least correlated or negatively correlated the most. Okay, so I hope you enjoy doing it, and then see you next time. Bye bye.